Hello. So tonight on the 93 Sonoma, man, I've been driving the crap out of this thing. God, it runs good. But man, it was hard for me to park it to start working on it. So I've got the seats out. I want to get those steam cleaned. And as you can see, the old carpet is done. And I got a brand new carpet kit, carpet, whatever you want to call it, to go in. Seems to be pretty good quality, probably the same that I've put in that. So yeah, excited to get that in there, get it smelling a little bit better. Got the roll pan put on, got my plate put on, all that good stuff. Why is the hood up, you say? Well, gave it a good bath the other day after I got it inspected, and I'm going to put some shine on the engine here right now. I just let it run for a little bit and warm up. The stuff that I use works really good when the engine's warm. Excuse me. So anyway, I got the old system out of it. Not familiar with this brand here. It didn't sound terrible. It is what it was. I haven't even looked it up. I guess it's something you kind of buy as a kit. Man, how times have changed. But anyway, she didn't really pump all that hard, but it did the job for what the guy did. I mean, he wasn't trying to spend a ton of money in it, so it's not like I'm going to sit here and ridicule it and make fun of it, whatever. Hell, I've been cranking it for the past few days. So, but no, anyway, I'm just saying it serves its purpose. Times have changed so much to where like a few $100, man, you can have some decent tunes in your ride and really not break the bank and kind of sound all right. But I'm going to get that in there. Like I said, get these steam clean. I'm going to probably steam clean all of that. Maybe get some good interior paint and repaint it, or just really clean it up really nice and see how that goes. I really hate painted interior pieces. I know paint now is way better, and it gets better every year. But it's just something about spray painted interior pieces. I've done panels for people, cleaned it up really well, cleaned it, prep, and it looked nice, and it didn't flake or anything. But at my age, I'm just used to like paint just really sucking for interior applications. But I might just go that route. I might just clean it and see what I can do with it. Again. I'm not trying to go too deep. Bad habit. But so I got the shifter knob off, shifter boot. I'm going to probably order me I found some pretty cool ones on eBay just because. Get this cleaned up. On this particular application here, I should have shown some work, but once I get in here, get going, I just kind of get too lazy to set the camera up. I just rolling. But there's 4 15 millimeter nuts that hold the seat. Take those off, pop the seats off. I got the jack and all that out. As you can see, the truck was used. She's got some change, some fuses and whatnot. Don't see a whole lot of surface rust that you would see in normal spots, other than, of course, by the floorboard where your feet are, heat, and all that stuff. It's a 93, so I ought to be lucky there's a floorboard there. But underneath, it doesn't have any discoloration. It looks like the underneath of a truck. The center console just has 2 little screws here, 2 screws there. That comes out. Then the brackets themselves got 2 screws, as you see. Not a whole lot of rocket science. Then the seat belts, of course, they come out. Everything came out pretty easy except for this one. I had one of those Torx bolts that gave me a little trouble. I did end up breaking one bit, and then then I took a file to it, like a die grinder, just kind of etched out the piece that snapped off. I just etched it out where it snapped and just tapped it on in there with a hammer and cranked as hard as I could on it, and she finally popped. Excuse me. But that was the only one that gave me any kind of issue. Everything else came out fairly easy. I'm going to take these out. That's a pet peeve of mine. Oh, drilling out holes for the speaker grills. And of course you got this and stuff like that. But anyone that's into these trucks probably already know that good dashes now going for quite a bit of money. I just don't see the need to do all that. I will get one of those covers. What's the company called? I think Coverlay or Overlay, I forgot. I've got one for my little dually over there, and it does the job. Of course, it's best to have a brand new or better dash, or repair the crack, take it out, repair it. But I just don't see the need for this. I just don't see the need for this truck to do all that. But the speakers sitting on top of the dash like that, oh man, that is a pet peeve, and they're not screwed in, so take those out. I do have, where are they? They're not in here. I got some new shocks to go on the back of it. Where did I put them? Where are you tonight? They're here somewhere, but I found those on eBay as well. New grills, speaker grills. They might be in my shed, but anyway, you know what a speaker grill looks like, so it's not a big thing there. Yeah, they're in here somewhere. I did have the grills to use off of this dash, I could have, but that's going in my 90s project over there in the corner. And of course they're tan, so I really didn't feel like doing all the work and painting those as well. Just one of them things. Why not just use, if you can find what you need, why not use what you got? That's close in resemblance to what you already have installed. So anyway, same on this side, 15 millimeter bolts. I might have to take out some of this trim at the bottom. I might see what I can do to clean the paneling and trim up a bit. And just kind of make, you're there, why not clean it if you can? Again, we're not doing a show vehicle here, but it is, you can get lost. Like I keep saying, that's kind of my thing. You can get lost easily, and the next thing you know, you got a truck that's been sitting for a while to mess with, and it's just, you kind of never reach perfection, you know what I mean? And you just keep on and on. Next thing you know, been months, years, but we're not going to go that route. So anyway, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to take this out tonight, pull all this out. It's pretty much, I think, should come out now, but going to yank this out, then we're going to vacuum up and see what we have. We got a little bit of, like I said, a little bit of surface, but that's, to be expected. Nothing's going through the floor, nothing like that. So we're going to vacuum it out, give it a good wipe down, see what we need to do, and then I'm going to come in here with some OSFO, and then go back over it with some POR 15, or just go over it with the POR 15, whatever I can find if I've already got it here on my shelf. You could just throw the carpet back in here and say screw it, but I'm going to show you here in a minute. I am going to put some old school tunes up in it, and So while I'm here and got everything out, I'm going to go ahead and put some, kill mat, some of that sound suppression material. I'm going to go ahead and like I said, clean it up, PR15, and put some of that mat down. And it gives you a nice quiet ride inside. And, I don't plan on having the bass hitting too hard, but, it kind of gets rid of the brown. Sometimes that can be associated. But anyway, like I said, got that out. And I'm going to take you on a little trip here in a second over to my other shed and show you what I'm going to put in here for my stereo, or what I want to put in here for my stereo, or one of the few stereos and amps and stuff I got in there. This seems like a pretty good radio. I don't have any issues with it. Bluetooth, all that stuff. I mean, everything is pretty much, from what I've seen, kind of run of the mill these days. You can buy super expensive things. I know times have changed, but it's been my experience that as long as you got a unit, the head unit, as long as that comes on, that's all you really need, because the amp, crossover, and all that stuff's really doing the work. Your mid-range amp and all that stuff. But like I said, we're not going too deep with it. I don't know, just got that old school feel. I was driving this the last few days. We've got a rainy week. What did I say? A rainy reek? Rainy reek. But anyway, we've got a rainy week coming up. So I'm going to use that time to get, like I said, get that carpet out. The mat should be here Wednesday. Go ahead and get that in there, get that rolled in, rolled down. I'm going to put some up top here as well, get the headliner out. Not like I said, I keep saying it, not going too far. I guess that is kind of far for some, I guess. But like I said, we're not, the old thing, we're not trying to win awards and all that stuff. But if you're there, why not do what you can with it? So that's what I'm going to be doing with that. So yeah, I'm excited. Can't wait. I wanted to do it last week, but it just didn't manifest. I've got to get this wheel off. I'm going to go ahead and do the 2 rear wheels on this. There's a company about 2 hours from me that straightens wheels. I believe this one is a little bent, and you can feel a little vibration at about 55, 60 miles an hour. I went ahead and before I went to mini nats, I went ahead and replaced. Why not? They were cheap enough. I put new axles in it and new bearings and all that stuff, new, differential fluid, all that. And it definitely rides better with the bearings, but if you jack it up and run it, you can see this tire. It's not the tire, it's the wheel. You can see it's got a little shimmy to it. As did this one really bad, because it did have a bent axle flange. Put new axles and bearings in this, and boy, she rides freaking great. And that takes me to where I was going just a second ago. Man, I've been driving the crap out of this thing, and got that old school feel. Back in the day, man, the mid late 90s were my time. And cruising my 93 back then and had my little system up in it, man, felt like king of the world. So I'm going to kind of go that route, old school vibes, for myself. Not really trying to impress anyone, anything like that. So, do what I want to do with my project. Yeah, there are better out there. There's better system speakers and higher end things than what I'm going to use. But a lot of times people like to chime in and, oh man, that's junk. I mean, you might be right. A lot of the stuff I like, I've never had an issue with it myself. And I got plenty of compliments on it. It sounded great. I knew my limitations with things like, if you got, say, 2.8s, you don't want to over or underdrive them. As long as everything you put in here matches per se, Or even if it doesn't match, you don't have to have the amp cranked up to max. Max is where you get all of the distortion and everything out of it. You want to go to where it sounds good, even if it's not, you're wanting it to hit hard or be loud. But like I said, let's say you only have 8s. Use what you have, you know what I mean? Don't try to overdo it or underdo it. Just use what you have, but don't go to the max with what you have, because then it starts to really sound like crap. You can have junk, because back in the day, all I really had was brain fog for a second. Hand-me-down stuff, used stuff. I didn't buy my first brand new amp until 1997. My first new speakers I bought in 1997, and the amp and speakers I bought in 1997. That was a huge deal for me. That was huge. But everything else was like hand-me-down and, buy used from a friend that upgraded and whatnot. But I got plenty of compliments on my ride and my sound. That's because, like Will Smith said in Men in Black, the difference between me and you is I make this look good. So I like, if you got your stuff looking decent, and you got it kind of sounding a little decent, the whole package comes together. If you've got a busted up ride, and I've owned plenty of busted up rides, man. I used to be homeless and slept in my car. So when I say busted up ride, that is in no way knocking someone that don't have what I have or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, what a busted up ride is, and then you can put a booming system in that, and kind of like, well, if you're going to put a system in a busted ride, I'm thinking that thing better hit hard. You better shadow windows when you roll up. That compensates for the busted ride. But if you got a decent looking ride, nice little sound, you're not trying to win a bass off or anything like that, everything complements each other. You know what I mean? Like, you might look a little weird wearing a brand new Rolex watch and shoes like this. You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't complement. It's just like, you're looking at it going, something ain't right. Now, if I had good shoes on with the watch, okay, we're complimenting things now. We're kind of accenting. But that's my personal style and my personal take. That is in no way saying that's what everybody should do. But that's when I'm driving down the road, sunglasses on, just feeling it. That's when I'm just feeling it. So, because back in the day, I had my 93 S10. Keep in mind, in 95, 96, 97, that truck was only a few years old. So you're driving that truck, and it's clean and looking good, and you got some boom in it. Nothing that's like, busting windows out, but you're getting attention, and everything just kind of smooth. You know what I mean? Everything just complements. I mean, that's just what I've always been about. It's just like, I don't know. That's not to say that's what, people should follow my lead and do what I do. I'm just saying that's what works for me and blows my hair back. Let me know what blows your hair back. You know what I mean? So got that nostalgia feeling, cruising around. I actually, when I was taking this to get the windshield put in it, I had an old friend of mine message me. I haven't talked to him in a while. He was like, dude, I just passed a 90 style S10 with it lowered down a little bit with some 5 stars. Was that you? And that made my day, because it was me. And I was like, yep. So, you kind of get your style, your little taste, and, you kind of, people know you for certain things, whatnot. So, I don't know. I just see a lot of people in the scene, they just kind of go with trends, and they kind of don't go with their heart or what they feel. Like, man, I'd roll this thing up next to a Bentley, and I would still feel just as great as that guy in that Bentley feels. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, you go with your heart. I used to work for an estate, a very wealthy couple, and before they passed, and they had, actually that's where that Cadillac came from, but she had the latest Mercedes and all this and that, and I drive my Extreme. to go run her errands or go grab the mail or something, because I'm in my element. I'm feeling good. You know what I mean? I'm doing what I want to do. Because, one, everyone knows that Mercedes wasn't mine. So who are you fooling? So you get out of the Mercedes wearing sweatpants and busted up shoes and whatnot. I mean, people know it's not, especially in this little town here, people know it's not yours. So I don't know, I'd rather drive this and people know it's me than drive something that's not mine. And you're just faking the funk, man. It's just, I don't know. You do what you want. Everyone in life do what you want. I mean, it doesn't matter. You want to ride a friggin' tricycle. But I don't know. Everything I do in life, I've got to feel it. If I don't feel it, I just can't. I'm just not in it. That is not to say mine's better, worse, whatever. It's just I've got to be feeling what I'm doing. When I'm driving this, I like that feeling of like, man, I'm going to 7-Eleven, get me a breakfast bite, then head to school. You know what I mean? It's just that cool feeling, man. And, so I just think a lot of people these days don't really follow their heart and they kind of go with a trend. I think that's why, too, you don't see a lot of projects finished because, people's heart really isn't in it and they're kind of just going with a program or like, well, I'm going to do this. I got to do this swap, do that. And they really don't see the end of the line because they're always adding on a different feature for this. And that's awesome. You sink the money into it, get it done, the tilt beds or slam, the LS, whatever you want. But a lot of times you don't see it finished because the heart just isn't there. And I know money runs out, but if your heart's in it, you'll find a way to get it done. I remember back in 91, 92 and just getting my license and, wanting a cool truck. All my friends had cool trucks and stuff. And of course I was coming behind. So mine was like, my truck wasn't nowhere near up to snuff as theirs, but it was like, oh man, I'm getting me a truck Wednesday, man, I'm getting this truck. So then you're thinking, how can I get a system? How can I get some speakers? And I ended up buying a friend of mine's MTX 12s and his speaker box. He had moved on in life. That's another story for another day. But them guys, they weren't as old as I thought they were. It was just, I was kind of isolated from the world when I was a kid. But, I guess drinking and partying kind of took hold and, I kind of gravitated toward all this and I just stuck with this. And next thing you know, you're buying amps and stuff for like $50, $20 and badass EQs for $30 so they can get some beer or whatever. But that's another story for another day. But, so, you're buying hand-me-downs and all of a sudden it's like, all right, things are going to start happening for me now. So, there they go. There we go, my new grills. Anyway, but yeah, anyway, so that's where it comes from. Sometimes I over-explain. I kind of overthink a little bit with things and maybe talk too much. But hey, that's what I do. So, get all that out. Like, I want to take a journey over here to, actually, I hadn't started my other 93, hadn't started this in a little bit. So, since mini nats actually, so kind of came in here, opened up, let that run for a little bit, keep the juices flowing, things like that. Like I said, we got a starting to sprinkle now. Rain coming in. So I don't know what's on TV, but I'm gonna mute it real quick so I don't get flagged again. So I went with, I had JL Audios back in the day. I loved them. I loved the way they sounded. They had nice tight bass. I'm sure there might be better or worse, but I've had quite a few speakers in my lifetime, and JL Audio was the first new speaker that I ever bought in my life. And it's just kind of a nostalgia feel for me. So that's kind of why I went with those. And like I said, I thought they sounded great. Anyone that knew my truck back in the day, I think would agree. I didn't have any issue. I'm sure everyone's got their favorites, like running shoes or whatever. Everyone's got their favorite brand. What works for you might not work for me, all that good stuff. Sometimes I do feel that need to explain. It's not like hey, these are the best things you'll ever use. But I love my old JL audios. I just freaking love them. They just got that old school look. Of course, I think the old school ones, it kind of had a bubble rather than recessed in, but they still got that cool look. The old nostalgia feel for me. So that's what I'm using here. And as far as radio, I bought this crossovers, I think like $70, 60, $70. Like I said, I've been out of the game for a little while, and this is, now I know a cheaper brand. I've never even heard of this brand, but I don't think I need, something really crazy for what I'm doing. I'm just going to have some 10s in it. I am going to put one of my punches in it. I'll probably put that one. Again, that's the first amp I ever bought with my own money. As far as new, I should say, brand new, I should say. Shouldn't say with my own money. Well, it was my own money, but I'm just saying that's the first amp I bought brand new. And of course, I got these, and I bought this EQ back in the day for $25 for a guy because he wanted to buy some alcohol for a Harbor Fest, which is a boat thing about 2 or 3 hours from where I live. And that was back in like 1994. That was a huge deal. People around here didn't see things like that. I actually found a brand new in the box, never installed gooseneck, and I bought it. That's going in my 90s project. I've never even heard of this brand right here, but I bought it just because that was fairly new, or unused, I should say. It's not new because it was in the 90s when it was made, or maybe even late 80s. I haven't even looked at the date on it. But I'm going to go ahead and say late 80s or late 80s, or probably early 90s. But anyhow, I'm going to I need to get a faceplate made. I'm going to probably put this in there, or I might I do have this Alpine, but I might find another one to use just because I've got these here sitting here. They've been here forever, and I just kind of feel like I don't want to steal from my display. But like I said, I didn't feel the need to go with super expensive. I mean, the one I had before wasn't super expensive. It gets the job done. I know there's better out there. If I put it in there and it sounds funky or something's not right, then hey, I'll get a different one. But at this point in time, I just don't see the need. I just think this will do the job for what I'm doing here. And I'm going to use one of these Kenwoods. It's a toss-up between this or one of my Alpines. I do have the face flip down cassette here. I also found, and I didn't even know, well, I actually looked it up because I thought maybe something like that might exist by now, and it does. You can take a cassette, a Bluetooth cassette, put in your tape deck, and your phone will work through it. Pretty cool. Can't wait to get that in and get that tested out and see. And then you can still use your tapes. As you can see, I've got plenty of cassettes. Plenty. I got more than that than what you see here. But anyhow, that's what I'm doing with that. But it'll be one of those. I might try to see if I can find another one like this. I just like them old Kenwoods, man. And I was talking to a guy at Mini-Nats, and he was like, well, Kenwood's junk. Kenwood was junk back in the day. I'm like, I don't know. I used Alpines and things. You gravitated towards it's like a woman. You might say, well, damn, she's too skinny. And I might say, well, I'm not into whatever, man, or whatever. Everyone's got what they like. And it's just the way it feels and looks. It's just, comfortable. I just like it. Plus, I've got these CD changers, but it's going to be used to function. So it's not like I'm going to a show or anything and just be like, check out my nostalgia. So it's going to be used. But so yeah, that's going to be that. I'm going to put some tweeters in there, and I did buy some new dash speakers and some new 4x10s for the pillars in the back. And back in the day, that's all I had. I didn't have anything crazy. Everything it wasn't super mismatched. As far as maybe brands, but as far as power and logistics of it, where you placed it, the size of your box, all that, everything just worked together. I didn't, you know, when you crank something up and it's got that like boom kind of feel to it, you just feel like it's starving for power, or you're just overpowering the speaker or whatever, and it can't keep up. Whatever, as long as you got everything kind of matched power wise, you're usually okay. You don't have to, you know. And I found this as well. This wasn't super expensive, a little Farad cap. I wish that it was just like, you know, all black or whatever. I just too much going on. I think back in the late 90s, early 2000s on up, everything just got kind of gaudy looking for me. Like the Sony Explode was just like, you had the speaker, then this god awful cover on it, and it just seemed like to me everything went to looks rather than function. It just looked so aisle 5 of Pep Boys, you know what I mean? Just like, I used to love walking around Pep Boys, but it's just like gaudy looking. That just looks nice and tight to me. Everything, all these buttons are used. It's just not like, you know, a big bulky thing that, you know, is like a big. Imagine if this was a stereo. You had in one little knob, and you thought you had something impressive, but it's really just a big bulky pile of shit. So I just like that nice, sleek, kind of clean. Especially with the Alpines, man. You can't go wrong with that. That just looks so... This right here, the face of that pushes it for me. It just kind of looks... I don't know what the word or term may be, but it's just like nice. All you need is that nice little screen there, you know what I mean? It's just like this right here. I found this in a junkyard. I think I said that before. It's just... What shows up is what you need to see. It just doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles for non-existent whatever, man. But so anyway, I've talked too long, I think. Hope you watch, hope you listen. I'll be doing some more stuff here soon, showing things. I got to build a bracket. I got to get some wheels powder coated for a special project in Carlisle. Hope I can get that done for the guy. But thanks for listening, thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out.